What's good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the Collected Clips where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in today, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Put your notification bell on all things so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that I'm kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. We're going up on this channel and it's all because of you. And for that, I can say I'm very humbled, but even more so, I'm appreciative. So today I have something special for you. Today we have the man himself, Dubs V, man. And for those of you that haven't tapped into the Dubs channel, you really bumped your head or you've been sleeping under a rock because this man has came up and he's probably my inspiration to YouTube, man. It was one of the first channels I ever watched. And there's definitely been a lot of controversy and a lot going on with Dubs. But again, man, if you want to get that knowledge you can't get in college, and definitely be educated, man, whether it be culture, style, anything that's even relevant nowadays, tap in with Dubs, man. But today I got some tricky questions, so let's get straight to it. And there he is. The man is in here, man. What's up, Dubs?
What's cracking? What's cracking, everybody?
All right, now. So we're gonna get straight to it. The other day I did a interview on your channel. You had some questions for me, and so I kind of wanted to start from what's relevant now to a little bit of our history in the past. So, what's up with you, man? I heard a word on the curb is, you know, there's been a lot of people mischaracterizing you
Mhm.
and saying that you have racial elements to your lifestyle, man. Can you let me
Yeah.
know what's going on?
It's been going on for a while. Um, and recently I made a video and I told a story. And as I always do, when I tell a story, I want to have a point, right? I want to have a message. I'm trying to show people um how bad it can be if you go to prison. And this was to me, it was just another story. And it turned into that I was racist, right? It turned into that I moved a drinking fountain and I stopped people from drinking from it. And but if you just listen to the story, somebody approached me and it wasn't a youngster. You know, the narrative is being spun that it was a youngster. It wasn't a youngster. Um, it was somebody with authority on the yard, but he was only one person with authority. Anyways, he asked me and I told him, nah, I don't think that's a good move, Holmes. I don't think that's a good idea. It's not good for business, right? And he took it upon himself to move it. I was against it. If you look at the video, I was against it, but somehow it was Dubs is this and Dubs is that. But what it comes down to, and you know, as a content creator yourself, and most content creators get this, when you're successful and other people don't have content, they will shoot at other people and try to use their name for clout. And it is what it is. I get it. Whatever people say about me doesn't make me what they say. It's just what they say.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, with that being said, and when that initially started, man, it was a video I believe that was done by Damen Porter. Shout out to Damen Porter. If you guys haven't tapped in with the Damen Porter channel, that's a good dude.
Absolutely.
YA baby, can come from the
A
brother's
friend of mine.
perspective. Yes, absolutely. A good friend of Dub's, childhood friend. They've been doing time
Mhm.
with each other for over 20, 30 years now. Um, Good dude. He was a little maybe misdirected or was thinking one way, and then when he realized exactly what it was, he basically went back and not apologized, but stood 10 toes
Mm-mm.
down like a man, but let everybody know that maybe he read into it wrong. And that's what a true man does, a true friend does, you know.
Well, I want to interject real quick. What he did was he just wanted he still believes how he believes is what I
Mhm.
got from his video. However, the reason why he made the video from what I saw was he didn't like anybody trying to use his video as their grounds to call me a racist and then put those words in his mouth because
Yeah.
he has never said I was racist. He knows he's a friend of mine. The people that know me, they're like, there's no fucking way with this dude, right? It's the ones that need clout and already it's the ones that hate Mexicans. I'm for some reasons I'm looked at as the boogeyman, right? They're calling me the Mexican Wes Watson, actually. That was
Yeah.
hilarious when I saw that.
Yeah. It's a trip.
Oh shit.
So, so I wanted to ask you another question. So, and this one's a little tricky. So a lot of people constantly they get in my DMs, they message me, and they say, Dubs tells these stories from a Southerner's perspective, from the Southern Raza side.
Mhm.
Um, why is it that they seem in every story they seem to always take the W's. They never take an L. And I've told them, and I'm going back and forth with, and I'm told told plenty of stories about not everyone wins the wars or the battles, and can you kind of just tell them why, from what your perspective is on what how it is, why
Well,
they would.
I always make it a point to not talk about wins and losses. That's glamorizing.
Hmm.
That you're when you tell a story about prison and you're talking about who won, you're glamorizing that group. And I refuse to do that. My mission with this is to try to help people realize that prison is not where you want to go. The streets are not where it's at, you know. And so again, every time I tell a story, I don't want to tell a story if it doesn't have a message, because then all I'm doing is glamorizing, right? Now, I could tell stories of wins and losses. Absolutely. But again, what does that do? How does that help get a message across? When I'm trying to reach, what people don't get is I'm trying to reach everybody. I don't care, because I have people of all nationalities and I have people all around the world that watch my channel. I'm trying to reach every single person that sees my video, not one group, not one ethnicity. That doesn't do anything for me. I'm trying to help everybody. I'm trying to help these people that hate me. I'm trying to help your kids, your nephews and nieces. I'm trying to give them a glimpse into what criminality is like, what being locked up is like, whether it's juvenile hall, camp, YA, or the joint. I'm trying to give them a real deal look at it. I'm not concerned with who won or who lost ever.
Yeah, and one thing that I commend you on, and I see on your channel a lot, is not only that, but you also give glimpses into your life, and you're trying to show people how you've changed and how you
Mhm,
gradually are changing.
mhm,
And people don't understand, man, there's a lot that you, after doing so much time like you did over 24 plus years, not
mhm,
counting the youth authority, there's so much changes that happened while you were incarcerated. You still are adapting to what's going on around you.
mhm.
Um, and you're showing people that there's a better way, that there's positivity out there, but you have to work hard for it. So a few months back, we were going live. We were
Mhm.
booming. And I kind of touched on it from my perspective on my side, how I felt. But we were going live. We were having a good old time, man. Some of the best lives on YouTube, I believe. Party time. And
Yeah,
I got so drunk, I think I got diabetes. But we were doing our thing. And
we were
and
doing it.
to be truthfully honest with you, we started to gain traction, but at the same time, we started to get a lot of people for whatever reason were trolling us. And I mean, that comes with the territory. That's a content creator. Doesn't matter
Mhm,
what genre you're going to get trolled. But I decided, you know, um, that I felt, because I was being more heavily trolled, that I would take a step back from everybody. Um, and kind of work on myself, work on my channels, take care of my business as a man before I could help anyone else out, or I could just indulge in the partying and just to doing what we're doing. Was it a shock to you when that happened? Because I didn't even let you know. And I know a lot of people went in on me. Well, why'd you block the Vato? Because I know how I am. Dubs would have called and I would have picked up the phone. I said the only way to do it, I even went and bought a new phone, changed numbers and everything. The only way to distance myself, not from a friend, but I felt would help me and you at the same time, because I knew that you needed that break, even if you didn't know it. Um, how did you feel at that time?
well, I want to go back and clarify, because when I mention this, people are like, "Yeah, right." Like, what am I gonna lie for? What do I get out of lying? Um, what people don't realize is, prior to engaging with Gunner on these lives and bringing everybody in, which were the best. They were the best lives, man. We would have 8 people, 10 people, everybody having a good time. Man, we had great nights, great lives, great fun, right? But prior to that, when I would go live, I would have 1,500, 2,000, over 2,000 people in my lives. And when Gunner and I decided, hey, let's go ahead and try this out. I took a hit, but I didn't care. I was having fun. We were meeting new people. It was what it was. And there were people that were saying, "Oh, Dubs, you took a hit messing with him." I didn't give a damn. You were my friend, you know. And so we were doing our thing, and we were having what we thought was a great time. And little did we know that for some reason, people that we thought were cool with us were developing animosity, and rather than saying, "Hey, homie, can I ask you about something?" They just let that fester, and it became something within their own mind and their heart that it never was in mine or yours, right? And that spun off into like a whole different thing. And then next thing you know, we were getting, hit from here, hit from there, hit from, which it didn't affect our channels. There was this time, and we won't go into it, but you and I had stepped back to focus on something else that was in the works. And people saw that, I guess, as, oh, we're getting them, but it wasn't that. Is we were really focused on doing something huge. It didn't pan out. It didn't work. And then during that time when we were both kind of going through that together is when you chose to make your move, where you wanted to take a step back and you wanted me to do my thing, I guess, and you wanted to rebuild and you wanted me to rebuild. And but yeah, I was blown away. I was like, I called, I was like, what? And it tripped me out. And there were people that wanted me to talk bad about you when I would go live or when I would make a video. There were people that wanted you to speak on it. Then there was just out of nowhere all these experts that weren't in our daily conversations that were like, Dubs used Gunner and Dubs is smart, and then Dubs used Gunner, Dubs is dumb. But me personally, I was just like, damn, what happened to the homie? But we have to move on. And I was lucky. When that happened, I started to blow back up. Things started happening for me. But then I would look at you, and that's why I asked you when we did our interview on my channel, you took a big hit. And I was like, damn, I was even wondering for a second, like, is Gunner gonna survive this? And then boom, you came back with a vengeance. Now your small channel is about to blow past my big channel. But this is the thing, like, it's a necessary evil, apparently. I'm a firm believer. Anybody that knows me and has had conversations with me on more than several times knows I always say everything happens for a reason, man. But I was like thrown off. I was like, what the fuck? Not even a text or nothing, but it worked itself out.
No, absolutely. And I think like I know there was more going on behind the scenes at that time
Mm-hmm.
with what we were working on. And all that compiled with the trolling and the different things that were going on, and it wasn't affecting me. Like I said, I don't focus on the outside noise. At one point in time I did, young into my YouTube career, but as I got a little bit more seasoned in this and figured things out, I realized it just is what it is. Um, but as a friend, when you see a friend going through that, and deep down inside it's because of you. He's getting, and I know
Mm-hmm.
you were down to ride till the wheels fall off, win or lose,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. And I knew that, and I knew the type of individual you were. I said, but I felt, like it's just like if you're bringing caca to the show and it stinks, man. Everyone has to smell it, and you're the one that brought it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like I was bringing the bullshit, and I had to be the one to get rid of it. And I know how the way I am, I would have succumbed to the, oh, what's up, bro? This is what it is. And I was like, no. I started watching your numbers climb. Mine's
Mm-hmm.
were declining, but I knew that was coming. Um, I knew how to bounce back from that, and I did. And thank God I
Mm-hmm.
did, man. And it's only because of the people that are watching right now
Mm-hmm.
that I was able to do that. And we're still climbing. So with that being spoken on, there there's a lot that you're working on in your channel. And I wanted to ask you, what have you got coming up? I see you're starting to get into the short game. If you guys haven't tapped into Dub Shorts, make sure you tap into him. He's in the gym for reals now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
I see you got a lot going on, man. This new thing that you dropped or that you're working on, this
yeah.
documentary series.
Mm-hmm.
Elaborate on that. Kind of give us the rundown on what that's going to encompass and what it's about.
So I already interviewed one of my homeboys, and I want to interview family members, other friends, and it's inspired by a book called Beyond the Bullet. Beyond the Bullet it's a book that most lifers, when they're preparing for board, we read that book, and it's very impactful. It can make you very emotional. Once, if you have a conscience, you have to feel this book, right? And the book is a bunch of stories of people who lost family members due to gun violence. And there's a lot of books, there's a lot of classes that are in that arena as far as victim stories, right? But when there's a crime occurs, man, there's an entire set of victims that are always ignored and that are shamed a lot of times, and that's the perpetrator's family and friends. Um, and so what I'm trying to do with my docu series is I want to interview people that were in my life prior to me going to YA, prior to me catching my murder case, and I want them to be brutally honest on who they saw me as, um, what they thought of me, and how my crime impacted them, their lives, their decisions. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I think it needs to be out there. No one, that, as far as I know, no one has ever shed any light on the perpetrators' families. Um, my mom committed suicide, and part of it was because of my decision to kill somebody and get arrested for killing somebody. You know, and she was, my mom. Everybody that was her friend turned on her once I got arrested. I had family members go through a lot of stuff because of me, you know, and they were victimized by my actions, but then they were victimized by my victims' families or friends, So I want to put that out there. And it's nothing, it's just, I think all victims need to be acknowledged in serious crime or crime, period.
Absolutely. See, a lot of people don't touch on that. That was a great idea and something positive to put out because everyone is so focused on the victim, but we create more than just that victim. Our own
Hmm.
families are victims. No one thinks about the mother that's crying, having to visit her son in jail, or the father that's shamed in the neighborhood,
Hmm.
um, or your immediate family who's impacted, and even, relatives, ex-girlfriends. It goes deep because that's something great to touch on, man. And it helps. It's also it's like a medicine to you. It helps
Absolutely.
you, clear up old memories and old regrets. And so there's a lot going on, and you doing so much time starting as a youngster until when you got older, man, for that murder
Mhm.
case. You've seen a lot in prison and you tell your stories. And one thing I wanted to tell you is, like I said, I've been watching your videos 2, 3 years prior before I even jumped on YouTube. You're one of the guys who inspired me to get on YouTube.
Mm.
Um, the way you tell them is you put the person in that scene, you put them there.
Mm.
And I know a lot of these stories, and like I was saying just the other day, there's a lot of things that me and you discuss on the phone daily that we would like to talk about, but we can't. You
Mm-mm.
know, um, Out of respect,
Mhm.
out of just knowing what it is, having done
Mhm.
time, old convict codes that are hard to let go. There's reasons why we don't speak on things, and I'm sure people could read between the lines. That's just how it's always going to be. Nothing's ever going to change on that. You got to have respect. You got to have some type of morals in the game. You know, um, what when you first started YouTube to now, how has it changed? Was your reception into YouTube cool? No one didn't really know you. Now that more people know you, um, do you feel that you're getting a lot more recognized or a lot more love? Not recognized in public, but I'm saying a lot of more recognition for what you're doing, the help that you're doing. I know I get a lot of recognition as far as, hey man, you help me throughout the day. I'm sick. You make me laugh, whatever. I'm saying, do people get at you, DM you behind the scenes and say, hey, you really helped me? You're impacting
Absolutely.
my life.
Absolutely. I get it all the time. And it's a trip how people do say that, that the way that I tell stories, that I put people there. And it reminds me of when I was a kid. I've always been, like, into the war story thing when I was a kid, we all were. And I remember I would always, like, when I was in jail, when I was in camp, I remember my homeboys would be right there firing up a story, like, hey, what's that? This, this. And whenever it was my turn to tell a story, I would always stand up and face everybody. My homeboys would be like, sit down, fool. But I think it's all those years of telling those stories. And then I read a lot of Stephen King books. Anybody that's read Stephen King knows he's gonna if his character enters a room, he's gonna describe every single thing in the room. And I think that's where I get that from. But as far as people telling me that I'm making an impact, I get it a lot. I get it a lot. And I think it's because of all the internal work that I had to do. Anyone that was a lifer knows, in order to get found suitable for parole, you have to develop insight, figure out exactly who you are, why you made the decisions you did, to justify the things that you were doing. So, um, because I'm so confident in who I am, I don't have any problems speaking on emotions, which most men won't do. I don't have any problems admitting wrong, where a lot of men have problems with. And I try to be an example, like, it's all good, homie. That shit, holding that shit in is bad for you. And there's a lot of people, they DM me on IG, or they get at me in the messages. And I mean, I had some today that were like, hey, you don't understand the impact you have on others. And that's humbling to me, because that's why I started my channel. When I went to board the second time, and I told them, I cannot have my greatest impact on the world be that I was a killer. That I cannot leave this earth with that being my greatest impact. And so that's why when I got out, when I first paroled to San Diego, I was speaking at juvenile hall. I was speaking at colleges, continuation schools, elementary schools, Catholic schools. That was therapy for me. That was me giving back. That was me making amends. Um, but real life is what it is, and that didn't pay the bills. And so I had to, get to grinding at work and this and that. And I started the YouTube thing. I did not know what YouTube was. When my first channel, I mean, the original name of my channel was J Villa, right? Down near my whole name, right? And then I snapped. I said, shit, the shit I'm talking about, how do I know my pro officer might not have a problem with it? That's why I changed the name from JV to Dubs V. And then people want to come up with all this cryptic stuff of what Dubs V means. It's my neighborhood, WS. But that's why I started the channel. And I'll be honest. When I first started the channel, it was me. I think I was at work on break, and I did a video and I posted it, and it didn't really do anything. And I was like, okay. Then Toker from Brownside, he put out a video talking about Sad Boy Loco, who happens to be from here, another part of town than me though. And I made a video reacting to it, right? And the fucking thing in one day had like 16, 17,000 views, and it freaked me out. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and I deleted it. But that was my initial steps into YouTube, and the reason why I got into it was because it was therapy for me, and I wanted to be of service to others. I didn't know until you and I linked up. I didn't even realize there was real money in YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Then it was like, holy shit, I could really make a living at this.
That's when I took you behind the scenes and I showed you how pockets can get deep, but not by stealing or burning or lying or cheating,
Through
but by
hard work,
putting,
through making.
yes,
Look at before I started interacting with Gunner. Go back to my videos. I was okay with making one video a month, one video every 2 weeks, one video every 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
When Gunner told me the secret to YouTube is hard work, put out a video every single day, that's when I was like, holy shit, this shit is real.
Absolutely. I wake them up every morning. That's a fact. It's time to grind. It's time to grind. Speaking of waking them up every morning, Wes Watson.
Oh,
Tomorrow's Wes Watson Wednesday, my favorite. Willy Wonka Wednesday, my favorite day of the week, right? Everyone's favorite day. You get a lot of backlash for that.
I do. I get more love than hate, though.
No, absolutely. What's the motivation behind that? I mean, I know what it is, but let the people know what the motivation is behind it, because I get so many people saying, myself and you, we're haters, we envy, we hate this guy, we have animosity towards him for whatever reason. I want you in your own words to explain to these people why exactly you do it, man, and how, again, comedy is therapeutic. Go ahead and explain that.
Well, I've answered this a whole bunch of times. I'm asked a lot. And here's the thing. I do not do personal attacks. I especially don't like to go after any content creator. There are a lot of people that make content about me, and I don't talk about them. I let them do their thing. It's the reason why is because they are not playing a character. That's who they are. They're coming on every day. Hey, what's up? Whoop, whoop, and they're them. But Wes Watson is not who he is. Wes Watson, I 1000% believe that he came up with a plan and a character while he was still incarcerated. And the character he came up with was the Great White Hope. Because when people think of prison, there's always two things that pop into their head: the big buff black dude or the tatted down Mexican. It's not the strong white dude, right? And I think Wes realized, hey, I got some size on me. I can push this image and see where it goes. And as we saw when he came out and he was with Big Herc, he was one way and he evolved. The character evolved. So I don't have a problem making fun of what he says because I think he's playing a character. And it's also because the things he says are so outlandish. Again, I think it's part of the character. And it's like anybody who's been to prison knows. Like, he told a story about a guy in visiting that was choking on dope and ran from visiting into the dorm. Completely. Was he running through walls? Were the cops just letting him go? I mean, it's just there's so much there that he does that is completely 1,000,000% inaccurate. So I believe I'm clowning a character. If I really believed that was really Wes Watson, I wouldn't make fun of him.
I absolutely agree. That's pretty much the same thing I say, and it's more so having done time, having been on yard, and every yard's a real yard. Doesn't matter if it's a 1 yard or a 4 yard.
Absolutely.
Prison is prison. Every yard could get funky and could get real.
Yes.
So I want to kill that noise. People are like, you've never been anywhere. You've only been on a 2 yard. Well, I've seen people die on 2 yards. Okay, I haven't been there, but I've heard of it. It happens. When Wes says some of these things and explaining doing whole time and people breaking into office doors and stealing TVs and just things that will not, I mean, you'll get shot from the tower before you're doing that. They're thinking you're escaping.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's just a lot that he says, and so it's kind of like not necessarily it is clowning, but at the same time having fun with it on that character, not Wes Watson the man. Again, I've said it, and I think you've said it. If Wes Watson was to happen to be right there in the same room with me, I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing or change up my views on him, but I would definitely not, shy away from telling him exactly how I feel.
But this is the thing too, and you know this, I know this. Convicts and ex-convicts shoot the shit. If he was in the room with some ex-cons, everybody's be like, hey, Holmes, what's up with this bullshit you're talking about? Why would anybody be afraid to tell Wes Watson that? Why would anybody be afraid to tell anyone, hey, homie, you be bullshitting on your videos?
Firing it up.
Exactly. But see, people out here, they see, look, I remember so my ex-wife, the one I was with when I first got out.
Yeah.
When I would talk to other homies on the other lifers on the phone, in prison, you don't leave room for wiggle room. When you have a conversation with a man in prison, do not allow that man to come up with his own interpretation of your words. So we speak a certain way when we're speaking to another convict or ex-convict. And my ex used to be like, damn, you talk rough. And I was like, no, that's how we talk. So this whole fallacy of, oh, you wouldn't say nothing, Wes. I would roast him. But he would understand because he would know I'm around dudes that really know what time it is. And I'm sure he would laugh about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I believe he made a character and he knows if he gets around ex-cons, unless he's that far gone. There's a lot of people saying that allegedly he's on this thing called trend, whatever that is, and that it makes you go crazy. And people are saying they think he got trend brain. I don't know. But I still would be like, fool, you be bullshitting.
Maybe it's the hair implants that didn't work that messed them all up. But whatever it is, I'll be looking forward to Wes Watson Wednesday. One more question, and then we're gonna get out of here. I took
Mm,
too much of your time. I seen a video you posted
mhm,
about losing a childhood friend, and you've told me some funny stories. And and then you told me about losing friends, and I know you lost a very, very close friend a few years back that we've
mhm,
discussed. You know what I'm
mhm,
talking about?
mhm.
How does it feel? You're thinking, at one point in time you were never going to see these guys again, and now you're out living your life, and your same friends were a lot of them doing the same things that you were doing when you got locked up are now
Mhm.
dying. You know, how's that? Does that change your view in life, or you just it's part of the game? Just shit happens.
Well, one thing about me that I think keeps me grounded is that I'm a realist. Death is certain. We can't cheat it. There's no getting around it, right? I think when I lose a friend, like my dog that I lost a few years back, when losing him the way we lost him, I lost him. That hurts, and he was younger than me, by a few years. Those hurt. But then I have my homeboy Night Owl that just passed. And Night Owl was, he used to use heroin. We were in jail together. He was in prison. He got his life together. He had a job. He had a wife, and he passed. I can't be sad about that. Um, but seeing friends pass away, and then my homeboy Big Lou that just passed right before Night Owl, little while, seeing that happen, I feel like he wasn't at his best, so that those are when it's sad, but the thing is, when we're young, we believe we're invincible. We're willing to do the stupidest shit without thinking because we believe we can't die and nobody can kill us, period. Then we start getting older, you bump into the door on your way out, and fucking the next day you feel like you got jumped. Then you start seeing your peers, people you grew up with, that are some of them younger than you, some of them older than you, they're dying. And it just it with me, like I said, I'm a realist. I can't cheat death. I know death is waiting. I don't know when my expiration date is, but it just more than anything, it reinforces in me that I need to appreciate what I have in my life, and I need to enjoy every minute of the life that I have left. That's what it does for me.
Absolutely, man. I hear you, and it does. So with that being said, man, thank you for the interview. Myself and Dubs, we got a lot in the works together, separate on our own channels. Again, man, we both are putting in that necessary work, and we thank you guys because without the supporters and the subscribers and everyone that helps every day and shares our videos, man, we couldn't do it without you. Make sure you guys tap into the Dub S channel, Willy Wonka Wednesday, the Dubs channel, man, and just support. Show some support. With that being said, I hope that you move forward with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming. And remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the strive to struggle, the struggle to strive. We're gonna keep doing what we do right here on this channel, making it go up. Tap in to, of course, Gunners Collective TV, which is back online, the Dubs channel and the Dub S channel. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Now